Okay. Yeah, good. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So, how you think about the climate change? Your interesting topic. You want to tell about the climate change, the phenomena, and it's what does it actually about it?
Well, climate change is an interesting dilemma, I think. Now, it used to be, it was a concept and everybody thought misunderstanding, but it's becoming real. And as a communicator, as a professional communicator, I look at the messaging. And what I'm seeing is in addition to people, there are people who truly want to do good things. And sometimes they don't exactly get their messaging correct, I guess is the best way to say it. But it winds up as either they pass out information that is incorrect or not exactly correct. And that's what I refer to as misinformation. That's something that you catch your mistakes and you come back as quickly as you can and say, I'm sorry, I misstated this. This is what I really meant to say. The other part, and this is the thing that we're seeing more and more and more of, is disinformation, D-I-S information. And that is where you are telling an untruth on purpose because you want people, you say, oh, climate change, if you do this to protect the climate, it will kill the forest areas in our country. And people, logical people will say, wait a minute, that doesn't make sense. I should check on it. But there are so many, we know this, there are so many people out there who believe what they hear or they see. And I use this all the time in all of my presentations. I talk about my grandmother many, many, many years ago. And she would come out and say something. And I would say, Granny, how do you know that? I heard it on the radio. You could believe at least 90% of what you heard on the radio. Now you've got all of the traditional media, but you've got social media and you've got people who have an agenda or they just refuse to accept the obvious. And so they communicate disinformation, changing the facts or changing the statements so that when somebody hears it, they, oh, I better not do that. I should not be recycling my plastics because they're going to pollute the atmosphere. So sorry if I go off a little bit like that, but
the interesting part of it, I'm listening you very carefully, and the other side, how the thing and actual phenomena that it exists are not on that intensity, that how the people and media is pointing out and everyone is scared and people saying that the climate change is a more bigger phenomenon than a war. So
very, very true. And I tell particularly students today, I'll say, don't just take one source for your information. If you hear something, check somewhere else. Go to another, if you're reading a newspaper, and my students don't read newspapers, but if you do, watch a news program, television program. Are they saying the same thing you saw there? And again, I use this example. I'm crazy, I guess. Every day I watch NHK News out of Japan. I watch DW News out of Germany, BBC America, France 24. So I get 4 different areas, and these are what are available to me. But I also watch NBC, CBS, and ABC here in the US. So I get 7 different reports. Do they match? And yeah, I know that's a little bit probably too much, but I use that for the example to say, make sure if you check 2 different sources and they both say exactly the same thing, good chance that it's the fact. But don't just take 2 messages off of Facebook because you don't know where they're coming from.
Exactly, exactly. And you know that not everybody, but I go through, I meet a lot of people, a lot of nations, and you know, everybody has not such a processor, such a brain, or they can do work and they can see the media from comparison and do their homework. Majority, 99, I will not generalize it, but 99% people just get an information pass on. Either it is trusted or not. And this creates a panic and the panicky drive and destroying the planet. Yeah.
It does. And so circling back to the issues with the environment of this, I think it has to come from the top. We have to have our leadership, both government, political, and business leadership, have to be saying the same things. So that, again, if you only go and have this one source that you're able to get your information, you're hearing a unified message.
Yeah.
And you know, once again, we're not quite there yet, because somehow, particularly when you get into the governmental political side of things, you have a lot of other issues that are pushing in on it. But it has to be, you go to the people, you know, you did this, I did this. We go to, when we were children, we went to our parents and mommy, daddy, is this true? Is this, what is this? We trusted our teachers. Teachers,
Yeah.
Yeah. What is this? We need that, but again, it has to be a unified, so the message has to be similar. It doesn't have to be exact, because then it starts sounding like propaganda. But I need to hear the same underlying message from everyone.
Yeah. And you know, the recent era, we passes through COVID-19. In previously, I was not, I think I was not born when the last century plague came and it devastated the world. And this century, the COVID-19, I heard myself pass through WHO and the United Nations Secretary General and the World Health Organization head talking about the COVID, and everyone was stuck. All the world was stick with the television screen, the social media, and a huge panic was there. And when I see here, and in the third world, because there was a balance of hunger and disease, and the threat on the both sides, and they keep on opening and walking slowly and earning and spending. So the whole world was stuck. So the importance was at that time the leadership across the globe, across the world. But what I see, the United Nations and then the United States are telling the people about the fear of the COVID and the threat and the risk, and how the psyche of individuals, even the home, had kids, had husband and wife, and relationship affected, and our psyche a little bit and the lifestyle trend, the change in the past 3 years. So the major threat to the peace was that we are trying to handle it, and how the universe side our planet, and how the cope of it, and how they went with the COVID, and all our lifestyle, our business trend, and even many industry and the people start living at their home and work from home phenomena, new phenomena we observe. So how you see it that the life will be going to be normal with the controlled media, or how you see the future of the human being?
It's going, I think it's going, we're going to, I hope, and this is, again, I always give the background for this. My wife is Asian and from China, is Chinese. Taiwan is where her family is. They take this very, very, very seriously. I think we're going to see, I hope we're going to see a heightened awareness of, what do I want to say, safety. And I think it, again, when I think when we travel in Asia, Japan, wherever it may be here, and you'll get on a bus or whatever it might be, and you'll see someone and we're talking 15, 20 years ago, wearing a mask. And I remember the first time I asked my wife, why are they doing that? Well, they probably have a cold. They want to protect other people.
Yeah.
And so I think, I hope that what we're going to see is people becoming more and more aware of personal health guidelines, etc.
Yeah.
And communicating that to their children, to their coworkers, to everyone. But I would like to also see regularly somewhere, and I watch our local media and compare it again when I'm watching others, and say how many, even for reporters who are covering major events, how many reporters are wearing some sort of protective thing? Because you're in the middle of, we just had a football game here in Tampa, Florida, 60,000 people. And as I was watching the various newscasts, not one news person was wearing a mask. When I go into the public these days, I've always got one on. So again, I'm going too far down this road, but the idea is we're going to, I hope we will see reinforced again from the top, an awareness of hygiene, of personal cleanliness. And, you know, if you even have a little bit of a sniffles and I think you may be getting a cold, wear something to cover it so that you don't share those germs with everybody else. So enough of that. I'm not a doctor, so I can't go too far.
Yeah. So the personal hygiene and healthcare can be good at taking measures to keep the society safe from spreading the disease.
Right. I think so. And it's going to mean a major change in thinking and acting for how many millions of people who have never had to worry about this before. This is something new for a lot of people.
Yeah, so say the continuity of that the now world is working on blue economy, green economy. Basically, the two things I looking in 2023, and the major of the people focusing, one is the economy and one is the health. And both work good and bring the peace back to the world. That there are no wars, there are a good personal health care, and we use same resources what we require. Because very well I see a lot of food is going wasted, and some people like in Africa has not food. So we cook the same food what we need, and how the world move fast forward with a peace, harmony, and like the COP27 results that the developed countries are spending on the poor countries in the field of the climate resilient or climate change and its effects. So how you see the 2023, the world peace can get back, and with panic reduction and everyone, the false news moving on. This happened in Afghanistan, or this happened in Africa, and this is going to this, thirsting and without any action. You just keep on watching and spreading the news or such things. It only keep on the pressure on society, and the society become a panic or reactive. It's reactive. So to see the 2023.
Well, I think what we're going to we need to see is, once again, and I use these terms so much, say from the media side, let's use the media, a unified presentation. But going back to what you said earlier, I'm watching the news and I say, well, oh, that happened over there. I don't need to worry about that. That's not my concern. If you look, regardless of where you are, you will find the same situation in your country, regardless of what it is. I come from the southern state of Georgia. I remember even growing up, as I became aware of global events, and I would realize, gee, something not exactly the same, but something similar happened here. So this isn't their problem, it's our problem. And I think that's the message that has to somehow get out continually, is it's not their problem, it's our problem. And we can all do this. And you don't have to go out and drive a bulldozer and clear land. What you have to do is be aware of what you're doing and ask yourself. And I'm learning, since we moved down here to Florida, recycling is a little bit more emphasized here than Massachusetts, where I live. Yeah, not saying that they did not, but down here it's very, very serious. And that's a good thing. And so even I, at my age, am learning. Think about this. Just when I go to automatically throw something away, wait a minute, where does this go? But saying that, why am I doing that? Because as I watch the news, I'm hearing about locally water pollution problems, and agricultural all these different things that 5 years ago I say that's their problem. Now I'm saying, gee, this is the place they're talking about is literally 5 miles from where I live. So it's they is us now.
Yeah, exactly. This is the thing. What I see, that sometimes we say we carry a passport from this nation I am, or this nation. Now, it's the global phenomenon. What I am seeing, that what happens in one part of the world, it affects to some extent to the other. So the strategic, like we see started from China, the virus spread across the world, or it start from Africa, and it's travel to the other countries and continent. So everybody, New Zealand, Australia, and every part of the world is now connected with your IT and with the people as well. They keep on traveling from Dubai, from to Africa, from they have the Heathrow Airport, land there, and then the Canada, Toronto, or any other. So one thing is this, and now what I see, the time has made us more programmable, more precise. That I was in the New Year, we were celebrating the Happy New Year, and hear about my strategic goals and targets that I have to put to learn yoga. and exercise yoga to have my mental and physical health better and maintain. And the second, I have to do some social corporate responsibility work. Like for my late father, we have two wells here where the poor people can have a water and this. So this is the what I can put my contribution to myself, invest on my health, and if I'm healthy, I can serve the humanity. So this way, that how we can work, how much millions of liters I cleaned water last year, and how much I shall clean the wastewater and grow more crops by this save water, clean water this year. What you want to give message from your side to the world for how they organize and take challenges in 2023 in the new year, because the January and New Year just started.
Again, I was thinking back again many years ago when I was in the military in the Air Force. I was stationed in the Philippines, and my division that I worked with, we had a theme song, and this speaks to this. It was because we were the headquarters for all of the military in the Pacific. And our theme song was, "We all play in the same band." And just that is that you're not there and I'm here and we're separate in this. We're all together. And I think our messaging in 2023 and forever now is going to be this: we're a family.
Yeah.
And we all have to do these things to ensure that not only we today are okay, but the future, our children, our grandchildren, will be just as well off as we were, and hopefully will continue to be. But it's communication. Again, it's getting the message, knowing what you want to say, and being consistent. You don't have to say the same words all the time, but the same message. Stay on target.
Yeah. So my last question with you, it's a really nice to connect and to have a bilateral discussion. My last question is that what I feel, and all the US and Canadian friends always oppose me, that I think that the majority of the issues are of overpopulation. What do you think on that?
I'm sorry.
Our population is growing rapidly on this planet, and unrealized that somewhere is huge population like our country, like Bangladesh, like India, like China. Huge population and resources have to follow us. Rather than if we plan a harmonized, a balanced population, like if the planet population stop on 5 billion, so rather to 7.5 billion, it's a huge population. So our planet can live long. What you say on this? Because everybody is against me on this point.
It's I honestly don't have a position one way or the other on that one. I've been watching the news, and not just to go specifically to China, and my wife sort of picked up on that one. Is they're talking about their population decline and these things. I don't know that there's an answer. You're going to continue. Maybe you're not going to be the largest country on the planet, but you'll still be there. And as I say, I don't really have a good scientific answer on that particular one.
Yeah. So what you want to give the message lastly to our all audience, the worldwide, and who are looking for peace, a beautiful planet, and what's your word for them? And then we'll say you bye, and we'll reconnect next a few months in future?
I think my advice would be, very honestly, is to be aware. Be aware of what you are doing, how your actions affect other people, and how they affect your surroundings, which leads to the planet. And this is just, again, awareness. As I've been watching the news, actually over the last couple of days, local news, talking about local fishermen just throwing their used fishing lines into the water, and they're wrapping around not only different sea animals, but actually yesterday some baby eagles were trapped in some fishing line. I mean, it sounds, you say, what does that mean, Kurt? Well, it's just that. Be aware. Know that what you are doing does have an effect on a larger entity than yourself. And yeah, you don't have to be obsessive and really crazy about it, but just stop and think as you're doing things. It's even for me, now that I'm having to pay my own water bills, is I'm much more aware of how much water I'm using. And it's a good lesson. I never ever thought in the past about that in particular, because I didn't have to pay. It was part of my rental payment. Now I own a home and I'm having to pay for this. And I'm saying, wow, let's rethink how we're using our water. So again, now I talked about garbage and recycling, and now the water usage. These are the things, and they are important. They're not going to go away. They are part of our existence. So I think somebody said years ago, but the first time we went to the moon, that the astronauts left something on the moon. They were already littering at that time. Just being aware of what you're doing and how the effects that it will have.
Exactly. And we worked with UNDP, and 3 years back, we introduced a concept, water credits, water going to be currency in future to save water, working with water with last 2 decades. And now is again, we introduced wastewater to revenue for the people of Asia, Africa, SAARC countries, that the wastewater we treat, we do cropping as FAO standards, the United Nations largest organization, food agriculture organization, meet these standards, and the fishing and get the proteins for the poor villagers. So water is carry values. Last time we did a webinar and about 30 countries participated. So our all lives keep around on water and environment. We try on both on education side and on execution side as well. We keep on forest like things. So this is, we see how we are not forever on this planet for the short life, like 70 years, 60 years, 80 years. So what we can contribute on the sustainability of the planet. So really nice to see your views, to exchange views. And after the meeting, hope you will share the video with me, and we'll keep in touch.
Absolutely.
And we'll say you bye-bye for the time, and we'll reconnect.
Great. Well, thank you so much, and thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah, thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.